We have gotten forgiveness completely wrong. And so I want you to hear me out and I want you to make a decision based on what I say. And then if not, you can just consider it and ponder it and just keep it there. And I want to know your thoughts. But basically, is in a lot of religious contexts and a lot of psychological contexts, we are always instructed to forgive those who have done harm to us, right? And over the years, I've heard so many different examples and things of that nature about forgiveness, right? And do I think forgiveness is important? I do think forgiveness is important. But, and this is what I want to bring to your attention, forgiveness does not mean atonement. Forgiveness doesn't necessarily mean that everything is fine and dandy. Okay? And so I think the type of forgiveness that has been sold to a lot of us is I forgive you and it's like nothing ever happened, right? And let me give you an example. We're in a relationship and you cheated on me, and you know, if I still like you, I have to forgive you, right? When in reality is that's not really healthy. Okay? And there's a lot of people that have parents that didn't do right by them. There's a lot of people that have, all sorts of situations where, someone has harmed them either deliberately or, undeliberately. And so I think the core issue here is that we have to create a space or a container where we can acknowledge what happened to us. And see, a lot of times in religion, we are forced to bypass that part to the reconciliation part. But there's a very important part of in all of this. Something did happen. Something was broken. The glass did in fact break. And a lot of times we pass that part all the way to the picking up part. No. No. I believe that first we have to acknowledge the pain. Because if we don't acknowledge the pain of what happened to us, how can we hope to move on? Yes, you cheated on me in a relationship. I don't know why I'm bringing that example. You cheated on me in this relationship. We were together and you cheated on me. Yes, I still love you. But what does this cheating, what does this infidelity, or what does this situation mean to me? See, when something like that happens to us, we have to organize ourselves and process things in order for us to become whole again. See, you can't break the glass and then pick it up and think that you're going to be able to use the glass like you always did. Not in all cases. And so I think step one is acknowledging what happened. And if you're watching this video, I just feel in my heart you've never been given the permission or the opportunity to really acknowledge what happened to you. And for that, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that people around you never gave you permission to even acknowledge what happened to you. And then number two is you have to feel those feelings, process it. What does that mean for you in this world? Now that that has happened to me, what does that mean for me? And I just feel like religion gets a bad rap because, and it's always well-meaning, right? It's never like with this evil intent, but like forgive those because they use the example of Jesus, right, on the cross. And when he was given up as a sacrifice for many, the Bible says. And I think a lot of times religion puts us in that sacrificial lamb part when we're not Jesus. Full stop. We're not Jesus. We have to acknowledge what happened, We have to feel what happened to us. In other words, process it. And then from there, you make a decision on whether or not you can forgive that person. And so there are a lot of people that are walking around with people that they probably shouldn't have forgiven that quick or that fast. And see, I hear terms like, again, and they're well-meaning. I hear terms like, well, forgiveness doesn't mean they let them off the hook. It means it lets you out of prison. Which that term is well-meaning, but the reality is, if you forgive that person and you haven't addressed the underlying issue of the pain, you're still going to be in prison. You're still going to be there. Because even though you've forgiven, you haven't let that pain go. And I think that's where we get it wrong. And so I'm curious to know, what do you guys think about this? I would love to have a discussion about this. You know what I'm saying? Have there been any moments in your life where something has happened to you? Maybe your parents didn't give you what you should have got. Well, my friends, I think for me, you have to acknowledge what happened. Acknowledge the pain. Feel the pain. Process the pain. And from there, you decide where you go from there. You know what I mean? And I want to end with this. I think part of the healing journey of forgiveness is also acknowledging that you can't change the past. I think we live sometimes unconsciously with this idea that we can change the past if we forgive hard enough, if we love hard enough. No, we can't change the past. And I'm sorry. But what happened, happened. The only thing we could do is adjust course from here. Maybe that person shouldn't have cheated on you. Maybe your parents should have been more loving or emotionally stable, but you can't change the past. So you have to acknowledge what happened, my friend. And I hope this video helps you. If you feel like you're in a time where you're ready for a transition, ready to really start the process of forgiveness, and to start on your healing journey, I offer a 6-week coaching program. If you're not ready for a coaching program, I also offer some more additional tools and stuff on Buy Me a Coffee. If you feel like called to support this work, or if you just want to have a conversation right here, we can have it right here. And so listen, what is one thing I could say to the people watching that really feel like pain, or what they didn't get, or what they should have gotten? I want to say I hug you. I'm with you. And I'm sorry that happened to you. And that's all I can say. I wish you the best. And I thank you for watching this video. Thank you.